Games. What other games do we play? What other games have been played? Who's playing the games in your life? Who's playing games on you right now? Let's go back and talk about Allstate Insurance again and universal natural intelligence. What does it mean to be naturally intelligent? Well, I say it's directly related to observational learning. We learn by looking. We learn by observing with our senses. We predict what's going to happen in the world. We get signals from the world, and then we correct any errors in those gaps. We're naturally intelligent because we can walk into a situation, and even if we don't understand it, we can come to understand it. And even if we're a dog and we're not sure why we're stopped at this corner waiting, we can still make a decision to wait a little bit longer, or hopefully eventually move on. What does that have to do with Allstate Insurance? And is Allstate Insurance naturally intelligent? Well, I would argue they are definitely not. Allstate Insurance is noteworthy for a couple of pretty horrific things in their time, and it's still ongoing. One of them, if you go back and look at the Northridge earthquake and the way they treated people and didn't treat people, if you look at their insurance company portfolio and several others and realize that they're a publicly traded company and they are literally trying to profit off of your loss. Let me say that again. Allstate Insurance is a publicly traded company with stock. The way their executives win or lose the game is they have to profit off of your loss. When your lives are lost, when your properties are lost, their equation has to make profit. Do you understand? This is the game that Allstate Insurance plays. They've been playing it like this for a very long time. It used to be not quite so impactful because a part of their game included independent agents all over the country and the world. Those independent agents were present in their communities and environments, and the money those independent agents made kind of trickled back down and found its way back to supporting little leagues and maybe nonprofit donations to a local rehab center, and maybe those Allstate agents got together and helped support a school. But Allstate agents, really no insurance agents work like that anymore. Since e-insurance decided that things needed to go online, and Allstate decided that Allstate.com should go online, they asked Michael Polzin to help with that, and a team of folks. They asked Michael Polzin to help with that, and a team of folks. Michael Polzin was in the room when Allstate said, we're going to make this an e-commerce site. I was in the room every time a major decision was made. I was not in the room after. I was not in the room after when they made the decision to start laying people off. I was in the room for every decision on how to design and architect the system to ensure that was not necessary. But they did not include the engineers and the architects in the conversation when they decided that the systems we built, they would invert and use to slay souls. They didn't invite us to that conversation. They conveniently left us out. And then they turned around and said, well, why don't you do the soul slaying and why don't you lay the people off? And they did. And it was horrific. We had friends, decades long, people that were in relationships with each other, having to lay off each other. No preparatory work, no psychological support, no what comes next, no outplacement whatsoever. And then they proceeded to take Northern Technology Northern Ireland, a wholly owned subsidiary, a place where they park and hide cash that don't have to pay taxes in the United States on it and other countries. They created this wholly owned subsidiary, Northbrook Technology Northern Ireland, so that Allstate, the parent company in Northbrook, Illinois, or wherever they moved to now, they still make all the profits from Northern Ireland. But they subcontract back out to themselves. They subcontract Northbrook Technologies Northern Ireland back to themselves. And after Allstate.com, they made me fire some of my best and brightest, because they were the expensive salaries, because they deserved it. Fire my best and brightest in the Network Operations Center and the Enterprise Command Center, and many across the network engineering team that were the only ones that knew the system that we built the way we built it. And they systematically replaced them with interns and college students who were not properly trained, sent them to be trained to Chicago, Illinois, and would pay for their room and board, sometimes for up to 9 months. Sometimes they wouldn't learn it the first time, they'd come back and do it again. It would take 3 to 5 contractors from the Northbrook Technology Northern Ireland Partnership to replace one U.S. person. It took 3 to 5 to replace one because the work style and work ethic was completely different. In the United States, they paid us a salary. We didn't get to go home until the problem was solved. Sometimes we had to work 24, 36 hours to clear viruses at Allstate. But when they outsourced it to Northbrook Technology Northern Ireland and they laid off my U.S. employees, they forced us to hire 3 to 5 in Ireland to replace every one because they only worked about 6 hours a day. And once they'd filled their quota, they logged off. Once they filled their quota, they logged off. And then the remaining U.S. team who they didn't fire that was still on salary, we still had to stay 24 to 36 hours to get the job done. Who won in that system? Who wins in any system when the only outcome is extraction? Who ever comes out a winner in a system when the only goal is more, more, more? There's not even a video game that plays like that. You couldn't win it. It's literally progressively infinite, and at some point, you're going to lose your mind trying. Hey, look up, look around. Who's lost their mind trying to play this game? The rules don't make sense. Even the people that make it don't know what they are. They change the rules so fast, they're not even sure how they change anymore. We're done with extraction. We're done with systematic extortion. We're done following rules for games that even the game makers don't even know how they work anymore. Find your inner peace. Dig deep to that little tippy tail of your spinal cord. Find whatever gets you worked up and work it out. Get that inner peace. Be calm. And then be loud. Take down the systems and free the souls.